The dangers of too much salt in senior diets. It's a topic that might sound bland, but the truth is far from it. Sodium, that seemingly innocuous mineral we sprinkle on our food, can be a silent saboteur, especially for our senior loved ones. That I've carefully crafted this narrative to unfold over the next 20 minutes, guiding you through the science, the hidden dangers, and, most importantly, the practical steps you can take to protect your health and the health of those you care about. Why? Seniors? Because as we age, our bodies become more susceptible to the harmful effects of excess sodium. Our kidneys become less efficient at filtering it out, our blood vessels lose elasticity, and underlying health conditions become more prevalent. This creates a perfect storm where even moderate amounts of salt can wreak havoc. We will start with an alarming statistic. Did you know that the average senior consumes nearly twice the recommended daily allowance of sodium? It's a hidden crisis, and we're here to shed light on it. Now that we've established the potential threat, let's delve a little deeper into sodium itself. What exactly is sodium, and why do our bodies need it at all? It's not just a culinary addition. Sodium is an essential mineral, an electrolyte, playing a crucial role in several vital bodily functions. It helps regulate fluid balance, ensuring our cells receive the hydration they need. It's also key for nerve impulse transmission, allowing our brains to communicate with the rest of our bodies, and it aids in muscle contraction. However, and this is crucial, the amount of sodium our bodies need to perform these functions is surprisingly small. We're talking about a fraction of what most people consume daily. Our bodies are incredibly efficient at retaining sodium, so even a minimal intake is often sufficient. The problem arises when we consistently overload our systems with excessive amounts, pushing our bodies beyond their capacity to cope. While sodium is essential, it's a case where less is definitely more, especially as we age. If our bodies need so little sodium, what's the recommended daily intake? This is where things can get a little confusing, as different organizations offer slightly different guidelines. However, the general consensus is that adults should aim for less than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day. The American Heart Association goes even further, suggesting an ideal limit of 1,500 milligrams for most adults, especially those with high blood pressure. To put that into perspective, 1 teaspoon of table salt contains approximately 2,300 milligrams of sodium, your entire daily allowance. Now, consider the average American diet, laden with processed foods, fast food, and restaurant meals. It's easy to see how quickly we can exceed these recommendations. Many people are consuming double, even triple, the suggested amount without even realizing it. It's not just about consciously adding salt to your meals. It's about the hidden sodium lurking in so many of the foods we eat every day. And that, my friends, is a recipe for disaster, particularly for our senior population. Now, let's talk about the most well-known consequence of high sodium intake: high blood pressure or hypertension. This is where the direct link between salt and health becomes undeniably clear. Excess sodium causes the body to retain more fluid. This increased fluid volume puts extra strain on your heart and blood vessels, forcing them to work harder. Over time, this constant pressure can damage the arteries, making them stiffer and narrower. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to pump water through a garden hose that's partially blocked. You have to increase the pressure to get the water through, right? The same thing happens in your body when you have too much sodium. High blood pressure is a major health concern, especially for seniors, as its prevalence increases with age. It's a leading risk factor for heart disease, stroke, kidney failure, and other serious conditions. And tragically, it often goes undetected for years because it rarely presents with obvious symptoms. That's why it's often called the silent killer. But the dangers of too much salt don't stop at high blood pressure. The ripple effect on senior health extends far beyond that. Excess sodium can significantly increase the risk of heart disease, even independently of its effect on blood pressure. The strain on the heart can lead to heart failure, a condition where the heart can't pump enough blood to meet the body's needs. Furthermore, high sodium intake can contribute to stroke, as damaged blood vessels are more prone to blockages or rupture. Kidney problems are another major concern. The kidneys are responsible for filtering sodium from the blood, and constantly overworking them can lead to chronic kidney disease. Perhaps surprisingly, Excessive salt can even weaken bones, increasing the risk of osteoporosis and fractures, a significant threat to seniors. Some studies even suggest a link between high sodium intake and cognitive decline, potentially contributing to memory problems and dementia. It's a cascade of negative effects, making a low-sodium diet a crucial element of healthy aging. Now that we understand the profound impact of excess sodium, let's unmask the culprits. It's not just about that pinch of salt you add to your scrambled eggs in the morning. The real danger lies in the hidden sources of sodium that permeate our modern diets. Processed foods are a major offender. Think canned soups, frozen dinners, packaged snacks, and processed meats. These items are often loaded with sodium to enhance flavor and extend shelf life. Restaurant meals, especially fast food, are another significant source. Chefs often use generous amounts of salt to make their dishes more palatable. Even seemingly healthy options can be surprisingly high in sodium. Condiments like soy sauce, ketchup, mustard, and salad dressings can also contribute a significant amount of sodium to your daily intake. And don't forget about certain medications like antacids and some pain relievers, which can also contain sodium. Being aware of these hidden sources is the first step in taking control of your sodium intake. Now, let's arm ourselves with the knowledge to navigate the often confusing world of food labels. Many products boast low sodium claims, but what do they really mean? Understanding these labels is crucial to making informed choices. The FDA has specific definitions for these terms. Sodium-free means the product contains less than 5 milligrams of sodium per serving. Very low sodium means 35 milligrams or less per serving. Low sodium means 140 milligrams or less per serving. But be wary of terms like reduced sodium or less sodium. These only mean the product has 25% less sodium than the regular version, which might still be quite high. Always check the nutrition facts label for the actual sodium content per serving and compare it to your daily target. And remember to pay attention to serving sizes. Often, the sodium content listed is for a smaller serving than you might typically consume. Don't be fooled by clever marketing tactics. Read the fine print and empower yourself with the facts. Now, let's move from the supermarket aisles to the heart of the home, the kitchen. Cooking at home gives you ultimate control over the ingredients and, therefore, the sodium content of your meals. Start by choosing fresh, unprocessed ingredients whenever possible. Fresh fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins are naturally low in sodium. When using canned goods, opt for low sodium or no salt added varieties. Rinse canned beans and vegetables to remove excess sodium. Make your own sauces and dressings instead of relying on store-bought versions, which are often packed with sodium. Experiment with herbs and spices to add flavor without salt. Garlic, onion, pepper, paprika, and chili powder are all excellent choices. Consider using salt substitutes sparingly, but be aware that some may contain potassium, which can be problematic for individuals with certain kidney conditions. And remember, a little goes a long way. Taste your food as you cook and add seasonings gradually. With a little creativity and planning, you can create delicious, satisfying, and low-sodium meals at home. But what about those times when cooking at home isn't an option? Navigating restaurant menus can be tricky, but it's certainly possible to make healthier choices. Start by being proactive. Don't hesitate to ask your server about the sodium content of dishes or if they can prepare your meal with less salt. Opt for steamed, grilled, or baked options instead of fried or sautéed dishes, which tend to be higher in sodium. Be mindful of sauces and dressings. Ask for them on the side so you can control the amount you use. Avoid dishes that are described as brined, pickled, or smoked, as these are typically high in sodium. Choose smaller portions. Restaurant portions are often much larger than necessary, and more food means more sodium. Share an entree with a friend or take half of your meal home for later. And finally, be wary of hidden sodium in bread, crackers, and even water. Being mindful and assertive, you can enjoy dining out without sabotaging your low-sodium efforts. One of the most important things to remember when embarking on a low-sodium journey is to be patient and gradual. Don't try to drastically cut your sodium intake overnight. This can be jarring to your taste buds and make it difficult to stick with the changes long-term. Instead, focus on making small, incremental changes over time. Start by reducing the amount of salt you add to your meals at the table. Then, gradually decrease the amount of salt you use when cooking. Your taste buds will adapt over time, and you'll eventually find that you don't need as much salt to enjoy your food. Read labels carefully and choose lower sodium options whenever possible. Gradually replace high-sodium snacks with healthier, low-sodium alternatives. The key is to make sustainable changes that you can maintain for the long haul. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. By taking a gradual approach, you'll be more likely to succeed in reducing your sodium intake and improving your overall health. Now, let's explore the exciting world of flavor beyond salt. Many people worry that reducing sodium means sacrificing taste, but that simply isn't true. There are countless ways to enhance the flavor of your meals without relying on salt. Herbs and spices are your best friends. Experiment with different combinations to find your favorites. Garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, chili powder, cumin, oregano, basil, and thyme are all excellent choices. Citrus juices, such as lemon and lime, can add a bright, tangy flavor to dishes. Vinegars, like balsamic or apple cider vinegar, can also add depth and complexity. Try roasting vegetables to bring out their natural sweetness. Use fresh garlic and onions as a base for your dishes. Don't be afraid to experiment with different cooking techniques. Searing meats can create a flavorful crust without adding salt. And remember, presentation matters. A beautifully plated dish can be just as satisfying as a heavily seasoned one. Embrace the challenge of creating delicious, low-sodium meals and discover a whole new world of flavor. Let's not forget about the important relationship between sodium and potassium. These two minerals work together to maintain fluid balance in the body. While reducing sodium is crucial, it's equally important to increase your potassium intake. Potassium helps to counteract the effects of sodium and can even help lower blood pressure. Excellent. Sources of potassium include fruits and vegetables like bananas, oranges, potatoes, especially with the skin, sweet potatoes, spinach, and tomatoes. Legumes, such as beans and lentils, are also good sources of potassium. Aim to incorporate plenty of these potassium-rich foods into your diet. However, it's important to note that individuals with kidney problems should consult with their doctor before significantly increasing their potassium intake, as their kidneys may not be able to effectively process it. Maintaining a healthy balance of sodium and potassium is key to overall health and well-being. Especially for seniors, it's crucial to remember that everyone's health needs are unique. Certain medical conditions can make individuals more sensitive to the effects of sodium. If you have kidney disease, heart failure, or other health issues, you may need to follow stricter sodium restrictions than the general recommendations. Salt sensitivity, where blood pressure is particularly affected by sodium intake, also varies from person to person. Some people are more sensitive to salt than others, and this sensitivity can increase with age. It's always best to consult with your doctor or a registered dietitian to determine the right sodium intake for your individual needs. They can assess your medical history, current medications, and lifestyle to provide personalized recommendations. Don't hesitate to seek professional guidance. Your doctor can also monitor your blood pressure and kidney function to ensure that you're staying within a safe range. Taking proactive steps to manage your sodium intake can significantly improve your health and well-being, especially as you age. Now, let's move from theory to reality. I want to share some inspiring success stories of seniors who have significantly improved their health by embracing a low-sodium diet. Take, for instance, Maria, a 72-year-old who struggled with high blood pressure for years. After working with a dietitian to reduce her sodium intake, she was able to lower her blood pressure and reduce her reliance on medication. Or consider John, an 80-year-old with heart failure. By cutting back on processed foods and cooking more meals at home, he was able to reduce his fluid retention and improve his energy levels. These are just a few examples of how a low-sodium diet can transform lives. These individuals didn't just read about the benefits. They took action. They made conscious choices to prioritize their health. Their stories demonstrate that it's never too late to make positive changes. Remember, Even small steps can lead to significant improvements in your overall well-being. Be inspired by their journeys and envision your own success story. We've covered a lot of ground in the past 20 minutes, from understanding the essential role of sodium to uncovering its hidden dangers and exploring practical strategies for reducing your intake. The key takeaway is that a low-sodium diet is a powerful tool for protecting your health, especially as you age. I hope this information has empowered you to take control of your well-being and make informed choices about your diet. Remember, it's not about deprivation, it's about making smart substitutions and discovering new flavors. So, what's your next step? Perhaps it's trying one new low-sodium recipe this week. Or maybe it's committing to reading food labels more carefully. Or perhaps it's scheduling a checkup with your doctor to discuss your sodium intake and overall health. Whatever you choose, take action today. Your health is worth it. Start small, be consistent, and celebrate your progress along the way. You have the power to create a healthier, happier future for yourself. The journey to a low-sodium lifestyle begins with a single step. Take that step now. No more text is required.